What's happening? It's your boy Fredo Bang. Shout out to the 100 Mob. You checking in the Real Field TV right now, live in action. Let's go.
What it is, the Booster Boy, but you know we standing in with the 100 Mob. You know, you ain't rolling with the Real Field TV, you getting rolled over. That's how that's going.
You already know what it is. We want to shout out Prod Interlude. Nigga, you already know what it is, man. He do beats, man. The best producer, most slept on. Nigga, you need to go ahead on and tap in for all you artists that want beats. He did the beat for Bleeder Creeping. You see what I'm saying? He did a lot of other beats. Now, straight up and down, Marshallville, Georgia. That's how we getting it in. And you already know what it is with me. We got your little brother in the corner because he tried to steal a beat straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? He can't rap. So, you know, we got my homeboy yoking him up in the corner because we ready to start the video. But he keep on trying to thieve. So you need to go ahead on and get your little brother and tell him to take off other people's clothes straight up and down because it's not his. That's why he looking the way he doing. Yeah, we got to check him. This is what we do to him, and this is how we got to get it in. So you already know how I do it, and you already know how I want to do it, and you already know how I'm going to do it. You already know what time it is with me, hippo mouth. Go in the corner. All right? And listen to Trey songs, gotta go straight up and down. Cause when I get that iron, you gotta go, nigga. Straight up and down. This is what we really sliding to. That's why it's all in red now. Wanna talk about OTS, Pap, yeah. And wanna talk about G Moine. And wanna talk about Bang, man. Wanna talk about Ben 10. We wanna talk about everybody right now like we always do now. We want to talk about this new interview that he did. You know what I'm saying? That people try to do interviews, you know what I'm saying, when time go past, you know what I'm saying? And all it does is reopen wounds. You understand what I'm talking about? It reopens memories of things that we ain't got no business thinking about. You understand what I'm talking about? So when he went and did this, pulling out paperwork and stuff like this, man, I'm ready to tell y'all, like I told you in the last OTS Pap and G Money video, on what really went down. You know, he said some things in this interview that made me want to touch back on it, nigga, straight up. He said he know why he did, you know, what happened to him. If he was here to tell you, you know what I'm saying, he'll tell you why this and that. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of people sitting up here in the comments going wild over that, man, but I'm here to tell you exactly what G Money did. You know what I'm saying? Because now that he say that, this the only thing it could have been why, you know what I mean, G Money got took up out of here for real. It probably ain't got nothing to do with NBA Youngboy like people were saying from the get-go. Now, it's rumors, allegedly, that G Money, you know what I'm saying, you know, was into something, you know what I'm saying, with, you know, the whole NBA like he was. Now, the thing is, he caught being 10 out of pocket, which is OTS, Lil Pap, Lil Brother, you know what I'm saying? Now, for whatever reason, in the mall, him and G Money got into an argument. G Money seen him, and they said that, you know what I'm saying, G Money slapped Mario coins out of him. Now, I don't know how true this is, but I know, you know, a lot of people from BR, you know what I'm saying, personally, and they tell me that this is a stamped story, you know what I'm saying? And from then on, you know what I'm saying, he was mocked, man. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody gonna let you do that to their blood brother, and you already got problems with the captain. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like, you know, that had to happen, man. And I want to put out something that, you know, G Money Mama actually said, you know what I'm saying, pertaining to the night when this happened to G Money. And, you know, I'm gonna listen to some of what the mama say, because these individuals that she talking about is no longer living in BR. They way out the way. You know what I'm saying? Whether they working regular jobs, whether they doing this and that, you know what I'm saying? You know, they was actually around, you know what I mean, Baby Joe all the time. It seemed like after that happened with G Money, everybody just started to spread, you know what I'm saying? They ain't, you know, wasn't around each other like that no more. But, you know what I'm saying, she spoke on something that happened that night. We're going to get into that later. But Ben 10 and G Money was said to be inside some type of situation where, you know what I'm saying, you know, he put his hand on him and whatever the case may be. So when you go to the situation where, you know, G Money, you know what I mean, gravesite and stuff like that, that happened, you know what I'm saying, this is what type of, you know what I'm saying, you got to think about it. Somebody got to really, really, really not like you are. You know, that person that's in the grave really had to do something to somebody for somebody that sent somebody to do this. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know if they got cameras out there. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But I'm sure it is now, because this ain't the first time it happened. And then you got to look at the whole BBG Iraq situation. You know what I mean? These people that she's speaking of is related to BBG Iraq. You know what I'm saying? And we going to get into that, dog. Just wait. You know what I mean? Ride with me. Because you got to look at the whole situation. This happened in, 2017? So I'm just going to be all the way transparent with what I know. You know what I'm saying? And what I do know is when BBG Iraq, you know what I'm saying, you know, the whole mural, you know what I'm saying, that jank was getting, you know, messed up and stuff like that. So we kind of know where it was coming from, because, you know, with the BBG Iraq situation, it kind of stamped it. You know what I mean? He stood in front of there and he said what he said, you know what I'm saying? And then you got the gravesite thing happening. You know what I mean? This is all linked, man. You know what I'm saying? You got G Money. He's standing in the same places when he do go on video and stuff like that, talking about whatever he's talking about. So that's how they know where to find him. Everybody in BR know where that studio was on Dallas Drive. In fact, you know, when people talk about it's DaReal studio, it was this and that. DaReal signed that lease the day before, or the day that did happen to G Money, allegedly, word through the wind that I'm hearing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't his studio all that time. You know what I'm saying? He recently just signed, at least they were doing work there so much that they just went on ahead and signed the lease. Now, the Bane man, he was locked up, he was gone or whatever the case. And he said that, you know what I'm saying, when OTS Pop first got snatched up, that he wasn't the person, you know what I'm saying? And we knew then that, you know, it was kind of like a throw off, allegedly. So it's like, we got to see him look at the BBG Iraq situation with the murals, you know what I'm saying? Then we got to go to the site. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, BBG Iraq had nothing to do with it. I'm just saying his people did, you know what I'm saying? Because inside that situation, when you see her say that Vontae, you know what I'm saying, was in the car and he was the one that got paid $800, and then he broke it down, being 10 was there. Why was being 10 there if it wasn't nothing really personal? You know what I'm saying? Being 10 name been coming up since the whole G Money thing with the car. You know what I'm saying? OTS Lil Pap tried to get rid of the ratchets from what they say inside the paperwork, you know what I'm saying? But he said he got the paperwork. So it's like they already knew what happened. But then it comes out that Baby Joe was the person that did it, and he still had nightmares. You know the whole article she said. Now, here's what I'm saying. You know, I don't think, you know what I mean, it would BBG, Baby Joe, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, allegedly they all could have been together, but that's where it all stems from, you know what I mean? G Money and the other members, because they were more accessible at the time. He couldn't get the NBA YoungBoy, you know what I'm saying? So I guess he tried to get the BN10. And, you know, that's why what went down. And NBA YoungBoy had no choice but to take the credit for it, because it was already something transpiring. He'd have tried to do that to NBA YoungBoy if he seen him. You see what I mean? So it's like, you know, when you got somebody that know that much about you, that's going that hard every time we get on the internet, and then he's steady standing in front of the studio he working at, shooting videos and stuff like that, it was real accessible to get to him. So this is what I'm saying when we talk about that whole situation. But the OTS Lil Pap interview is definitely going to get bigger than what it is, because, you know, he's speaking on something that's opening up memories that people, you know, been hearing about. But that's what I heard that went on, man. We ain't going to get no deeper. I'm out.